Hey everyone, welcome back. I've been kind of struggling recently in the Go Battle League. I've been trying to figure out what teams work in the Open Great League meta, and I think I finally found one that's very consistent that really works for me, and it's full of Pokemon that I know how to use. Let's take a look at the battles. Alright, so let's get into game number one here. We're going to see what team we're running. We're running the Lickitung, and then a Shadow Gligar and a Shadow Whiscash in the back. This is a terrible lead that we're seeing here. Our team doesn't really have a hard Charm resist, right? And Lickitung into most Charmers is pretty strong, but Lickitung into this Charmer kind of sucks. That's because the normal typing from Wigglytuff does actually resist Lick. You don't do much fast move pressure, and we actually did get a shield here early from this matchup. This Wigglytuff likely thinks I'm going to try to stay in this matchup and play it out, but I just kind of wanted to get some chip before swapping it into one of my Shadows. I say swap my Whiscash here, and I'm hoping right now that my Shadow Whiscash is pretty free in the back. They haven't swapped out yet. Maybe they're trying to debuff me first. Maybe they just want the charm damage before they swap out. Let's see what they do. Looks like a Shadow Poliwrath's actually going to meet our Whiscash here. Our team is a little bit weak to this thing, right? Icy Wind does a lot to Gligar, and then counter damage and Scald damage do so much damage here to our Whiscash and to our Lickitung. We get to another Mud Bomb. We could shield this if we want to try to get it off, which, honestly, saying there's a Charmer, right? I want to get shields down. And so if I can shield this, if I can knock out this Poliwrath, then I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot in the back line. It really depends on what the third is right now to see how much play I'm going to have this game. That Mud Bomb actually doesn't quite knock out, unfortunately, after that debuff, but we can lick this down here with Lickitung and see what they want to come in with. It's going to be an Annihilate, so a double counter team. Wigglytuff, double counter, a very solid lineup, but our Gligar in the back is positioned pretty well against this thing. Hopefully it's just going to be a Night Slash here, no Ice Punch shenanigans. Looks like it is just a Night Slash. The Aerial Ace should be more than enough to knock out, and we know that there is still that Wigglytuff alive, right? We didn't knock it out just yet, and we're going to have to do our best to take this out with both our Gligar and our Lickitung. We have a move story, right? A body slam on our Lickitung. So as long as we can take a shield here with Gligar, we're in a pretty good spot. We get the Aerial Ace off. We're not going to get another Ace, and we can't quite fast move them down here. We're going to get fast move down ourselves before we can knock them out with the wing attacks. But we have the body slam loaded, and we can take the win on a pretty awkward lead, honestly. They are basically triple strong against Lickitung, having two counter users and then a normal type Pokemon here that resists my attacks. But Lickitung, it doesn't care. It was able to brute force its way through that matchup. Alright, Lickitung into Sableye. This is a much better lead than that Wigglytuff. Let's see how we're going to play it out here. The one bad thing is Shadow Sableye actually has a decent matchup here into Lickitung. Fun fact, if you don't bait twice with Power Whip, and in the two-shield matchup, they're actually able to just win straight foul play if they can shield these Power Whips properly. So we'll have to see how the Sableye wants to play it out. There's another fun fact, though. You can strip two shields before you even have to shield once if you're the Lickitung user, because you don't actually get knocked out by the two foul plays until the Shadow Claw damage adds up. So the next foul play comes through. We survive that pretty easily here, and they swap. So the big problem about this is our Lickitung is our main water type answer with this team. That Sableye was able to whittle down our Lickitung pretty low, but we have our Whiscash that can try to do its best to absorb energy here. Hopefully they're not running Hydro Pump. If they are, probably need to shield it. If they aren't, then hopefully our Whiscash isn't going to get one-shot by something crazy. Looks like Ice Beam is the move of choice here. That means they probably could actually be running Hydro Pump. Maybe they're just a little bit scared to go for it here. Mud Bomb's going to come through. We need two of these to knock out this Azu. Or we need to try to get an ambitious Mud Shot down, which I don't think would be too possible, but we can still build up a lot of energy, so if that Sableye comes back in, we have energy to threaten it. Whiscash is a very quick charging Pokemon, but the fast move pressure is not quite there, so we have to throw this Mud Bomb before this Azu is able to get to that next Ice Beam. If they shield this, we have another move. If they don't, we have energy for the backline. Did yet another Wigglytuff. This is what I'm talking about when I say that I'm kind of struggling in the Open Great League meta right now. Basically, every single team that I'm facing has some sort of fast move based Pokemon like this. It might be the Wigglytuffs, the Bastiodons, the Victory Bells, right? It seems like they're kind of everywhere right now in the Great League meta, and it's really annoying. I don't like using these kinds of Pokemon, so I need to try to find out these ways to kind of dance around them myself, which it seems like this team can really do. We have a lot of health left over on our Gligar still. That Sableye does come in. We need to throw energy to knock it out, right? Because that Sableye is still pretty healthy. Icy Wind debuff is going to make it so that move doesn't quite knock out. We can get the Lick down here, and our Gligar should easily be able to get to a move if they wanted to stay in that match, but it looks like they'll just top left. Next matchup, Lickitung into Azu. This is another fantastic lead. We don't want to see this on our Gligar, and our Whiscash isn't necessarily a good matchup, so seeing this here is pretty nice. They're staying in as well, which makes me really wonder what's in the back. Maybe it's another Ghost type. I know Azu and Ghost types pair very well together. So maybe Skeledirge, maybe Trevenant. Just have to see what they swap into. And they actually come in with a Charjabug safe swap. This is not the safest pick in the meta. Shadow Gligar, honestly, is a very common Pokemon still, so safe swapping a Charjabug is kind of crazy to me. The X Scissors are coming through, so definitely not a Crunch Charjabug. Like, if you're safe swapping Charjabug, having Crunch makes sense in my opinion, right? Because you have play into the Skeledirge, you have play into the Glygars, but no, this one's just running X Scissor, so we should be able to wall its energy off pretty well here with our own Gligar. Next, we're going to throw a Dig, and the thing is, I'm kind of not sure if a Dig would have knocked out there or not, so I decided to go for it, but it seems like a bit of a waste of energy because we needed to throw 2 moves anyway. I was kind of unsure of this matchup. It's been a while since I've used Gligar, so I guess that's just kind of me having a little bit of nerves there using the Shadow Gligar. But, I mean, I don't know why I haven't been using it. It's so strong, right? It's really neutral. It does so much damage to that Azu, even. Azu is a very strong answer normally to the Gligar, but it has a lot of play into it nonetheless. And the third Pokemon that we see here is the Talonflame. I no-shield the first move just in case it's a Flame Charge. It's a Fly, but look at that Fly almost knocks us out. It's a tricky matchup here. Shadow Whiscash has no fast move pressure into this. It's all charge move based. The good thing is we have a ton of energy left over on our Lickitung. The bad news is we're going to get incinerated down before we can reach that third Scald. I need to try to bait here. If I can get a bait off, then maybe I can put this thing into range where, maybe one Body Slam would knock them out so I don't have to dump all of my energy here. I get the first move off. If I wanted to go for New Mechanic, I could have gone for the Scald. I didn't want to, though. I want this guaranteed damage onto this Talonflame. Mud Bomb is going to land. It puts them at a really awkward health range, honestly. I think that they're going to still need 2 moves for me to knock them out with Body Slams here. We'll shield the first move, throw that first Body Slam here after 4 licks, so good timing into this Talonflame, and then we're going to throw the next one after 3 licks to guarantee that we don't take any damage. It's rough we don't get that farm down, but we have enough health and enough energy on our Lickitung that I know that I can still put in work into that Azu. We landed a Dig, so the Power Whip should be enough as long as they can't Hydro Pump us before we get to it. We get to the Power Whip, this is easily going to knock out the Azu, and even though it was a good lead, this game was a little bit tricky because that Talonflame in the back put in so much work against our Whiscash. Alright, next matchup here, Lickitung lead into a Cresselia. This lead's a pretty strong lead, but some Cresselias that I've seen today have actually been running Future Sight, so I don't know if this is one of them or not. It could be just running Moonblast. Yeah, it looks like it's just Moonblast here because they throw almost instantly. Moonblast can debuff. Maybe I should have thrown that Body Slam before potential debuff, but luckily we don't get punished here. They save swap the Skeledirge, and then we come in with our Whiscash, and I guess they top left. So, that was probably the Rise team. The Rise to Occasion, he's a fantastic content creator. He made a team with Cresselia, Skeledirge, and I believe it was Feraligatr in the back. So yeah, that would have been a tough battle for our opponent to win. Next up, we see the Whimsicott lead. This is a fantastic lead for our Lickitung, but it is a little bit awkward if they ever swap out because our Whiscash wants nothing to do with this. It's also a little odd they're staying in here. It means, is my Lickitung going to be strong in the back? Am I wasting it here? I want to shield this Moonblast so we're not going to take a ton of damage just yet, and we'll see what comes in the back. It's going to be the Shadow Feraligatr. This is a good matchup, but after that Fairy Wind chip damage, we're actually in range where I think 2 Hydro Cannons might just knock us out. It looks like it. It's going to be really close here, but we can at least try to get a shield back here with our Lickitung. If they don't throw energy immediately, we have another Body Slam that we can reach before they can knock us out here. So let's see what they do. They do throw the Hydro immediately. Smart play by them. And now I am in a bit of a precarious spot here, right? We already saw that their lead was weak to Gligar. It's not like their Feraligatr is even a hard counter to Gligar either. So I'm thinking maybe the third's like an Azu or something that would be a really hard answer to my Gligar in the back. I'm hoping right now that it's something Gligar can have play into, but we'll just have to see. The first Mud Bomb's going to come through here. I undercharge in case they no-shield it so I can get a bit of an energy lead on our Gligar, and it's an Empoleon that comes in. This is playable. This is definitely playable here. It's a little bit of an awkward endgame because our Gligar needs to land a Dig here. It needs to expend a ton of energy. They don't no-shield that, unfortunately, so we have to throw a full other Dig. But thankfully, because of the undercharge I did earlier, we have enough of an energy lead that we're going to be able to get to a Dig before this second Hydro Cannon is reached. And now I know that even though I can't get to an Aerial Ace on the Whimsicott before they get a Seed Bomb, the wing attack damage that I'm going to have is going to put them in range of Mud Bomb on my Whiscash. And my Whiscash is pretty loaded. It has energy right now. What I need to make sure is a catch doesn't happen later in the game. So we're going to get this Aerial Ace off if they're going to let us. They don't, obviously. I need to watch right now. Are they going to catch? Are they going to not catch when my Whiscash comes in? I need to be very careful. Watch that top right corner. See what happens here. They try to go for the catch. I wait. They wait. And then I see that the Feraligatr comes in. I do fast moves. And then I throw the charge move to knock out this Whimsicott. Scald it for good measure here. Just want to get this thing out of the way. And Whiscash able to take out the Whimsicott. Normally a pretty hard answer to it, but a Pokemon that Whiscash, I guess, was able to beat. Right, an Azu lead. A lot of Azu leads tonight, it looks like. And another Azu lead that's staying in. As I said earlier, Azu loves to be paired with ghost types. So maybe it's a ghost type like a Skeledirge in the back. Maybe it's a Cresselia or, a different kind of pick as well. But we're just so happy that they're staying in this matchup, and they actually shielded. I've seen a lot of Hydro Pump Azus recently, so maybe they're going to try to Hydro Pump me after landing that, after shielding the Power Whip. Let's see what happens, and yeah, Hydro Pump does come through. It does a substantial amount of damage to me, but we can still get a Power Whip off, and I'm very happy to get this chip. I'm fine taking a shield advantage here, because once I have shield advantage with my Gligar and my Shadow Whiscash, I'm in such a commanding position. They safe swap, yet another Charge Bug safe swap. I don't know why this is happening. It feels like that's not really a safe swap in my opinion, but you know, people probably have been having success with it, so they've been running the safe swap Charge Bug. This one discharges me, which, you know, discharge is literally never the play. It does exactly the same damage as X Scissor, and it's, you know, just straight up more expensive. Crunch, if they had it, would just be neutral here, so I don't really know why they did that. This time, since they did throw the discharge, I know I actually can wing attack them down if I throw the dig, so a little bit of matchup knowledge now. Now that I know how to play this matchup out, we can go straight for the dig here, knock them out with fast moves. If that Azu comes back and we have a dig loaded, if anything else comes in, we can throw energy at it. It's yet another Wigglytuff, dude. Today is the day of Wigglytuffs. Honestly, it's just been the week of Wigglytuff, it seems. Wigglytuff has been absolutely everywhere. I hate this little guy. You kind of love to hate it, honestly. Like, it's a good evil Pokemon to have, because it beats Annihilate, and I hate that monkey more than I hate Wigglytuff. So, I mean, they're countering the apes out here with this Pokemon, so you gotta give it to them. But I don't like fighting either one of these Pokemon, so it does lead to a bit of frustration sometimes in these matchups. We have 2 shields on our Whiscash. There's just gonna be that Azu in the back. We can easily sweep with our cash, and we take the win there. Lickitung into Lickitung. I'm sorry, guys. This matchup might take out a little bit of time here. This is a very long mirror match. We have to throw our body slams. They're not very high damaging moves, and they have no fast move pressure into each other here, right? We're both using Lick. 1 damage every single Lick here. It's going to take a while. We just do body slam spam. And this matchup is probably one of the worst ones to try to commentate over, honestly. I don't think I've ever done it, right? I think this is maybe the first time I've used a Lickitung here in the YouTube channel, so hopefully we can make it through this matchup unscathed. The thing about this Lickitung matchup is it comes down to CMP, who's going to win this matchup here. If you're going to play it out all the way, it's literally going to come down to if you can win CMP with your Licky, you will win the matchup. If you can't, then you'll obviously lose the matchup. Sometimes I like to play it out where I let them drain energy, then I swap into my backline here, which is what I'm going to do this time. I safe swap my Shadow Whiscash. I hope there's not a hard answer. And there's a Venusaur? Who uses Venusaur? Well, apparently the Venusaur is actually a team made by the very first legend of the season. That's right, there's a legend already. I don't know how they did it, but the first legend of the season did use a Venusaur. It was like a Lickitung Venusaur, and then I think Shadow Gligar was the 3rd Pokemon. So if that is the team that we're facing here, there's still a little bit of play, right? Even though they have so much energy here, we can shield our Gligar, farm them down, and Gligar up energy will have play into the opposing Lickitung and into the opposing Shadow Gligar. So we'll have to see exactly what their backline is. Maybe it's something else, but I'm thinking right now there's a high chance that this is an imitation of the first Legend team in the game. So let's see what comes in. It's going to be the Licky, actually. So I was just waiting to see what they were going to do. They were trying to catch a dig. Glad I didn't throw it because the Shadow Gligar does come in. We have Aerial Ace to start spamming off against this thing, and we're going to try to whittle it down as much as we can. They're going to have to start shielding this if they want to save any health here. And I know that my Lickitung still has a Body Slam loaded, and that my Gligar is going to need to throw a dig against that Lickitung if I want to be able to knock it out. My wing attacks are putting them in range where Body Slam probably will knock out. So I need to store a dig, I need to swap out, throw the Body Slam here as soon as I can. Hope this is enough to knock out. If it doesn't, I probably just get fast moved down with my Gligar, but it is barely enough to knock out. We can maybe reach a Body Slam here, but Body Slam wouldn't be enough, so I decided to go for the Power Whip just in case. But we have that dig loaded, so even though I don't throw a move here, we have a move. As long as we don't, like, lag out horribly, we can throw the dig, knock out this Lickitung, and take the game. Looks like that's what's going to happen. This dig is going to be more than enough at this range to knock out the Lickitung, and that is a very close matchup for a bit of a boring mirror matchup in the lead, right? Ooh, fighting Distinct. Distinct is a fantastic player. Recently, he's had a ton of success in the play Pokemon circuit, and we are seeing the Mantine lead. He safe swaps his Diggersby, probably trying to bait out a Pokemon, maybe like my Whiscash here, a water type of some sort. And they haven't thrown a move yet, so I'm wondering if it is possible that it's a Hyper Beam Diggersby. It's already running Quick Attack, so Quick Attack Hyper Beam could be pretty scary. I'm going to shield just in case, because even a Scorching Stance would do a ton of damage. And there it is, the Hyper Beam. He goes for the kill. He tries to absolutely murder my little Whiscash here with the Hyper Beam. So glad I shielded that up, because that would have basically one-shot me. He would have had switch advantage, and I don't know what his third is, but I know my Gligar does not want to see that Mantine. So now that we've shielded that move, we got a debuff. We're going to see what the second move is. It's actually a Scorching Sands, so we can easily survive that. We're going to build it to the Mud Bombs. Going to try to chip down the Mantine with Scalds, see what we can do with our Lickitung and then our Gligar in the back. Lickitung is a very strong neutral option. I mean, he instantly swapped out of the Lickitung into Mantine matchup. That's mainly because, honestly, Mantine kind of sucks in these neutral scenarios, right? It's not exactly a great Pokemon when it comes to just outbulking things. And so we see that the third Pokemon is it's an Annihilate. We have our Gligar into it. As long as we don't, like, no-shield a Shadow Ball or an Ice Punch or something, we're going to be in a very solid spot. And if we do shield up properly, then we're honestly be able to close out the game with our Gligar. We shield the Shadow Ball, and yeah, that's just game over there. We can take the win and be very happy that we took out the Mantine lead. All right, well, I was talking about how we are going to be in these matchups for a long time. This is yet another Lickitung mirror match. I don't know why I have two of these in this video, but I guess we get to watch it yet again. This matchup is very long, very drawn out, but we can kind of think about what's in the back with this, right? Earlier today, we saw the imitation of the first Legend team in the game with the Lickitung and then Shadow Gligar, and I believe the third was a Venusaur. Hopefully it's not going to be that team again. If it is, then honestly, it's such an uphill battle, right? Even if I get switch advantage, their Gligar in the back has a lot of play into my backline, whereas my Whiscash has very little play into their backline. So we'll just have to see exactly what they're going to do to play this matchup out. Maybe I'd go for switch here, maybe I don't. The body slams are coming through. They're chipping down each of these Lickitungs. And as I said, it's down to CMP who wins this matchup. Lickitungs are generally a very high rank Pokemon. My Lickitung's pretty high rank, honestly, so there's a good chance that I don't win CMP. If I do win CMP, that means that their Lickitung is actually somehow better than mine. And yeah, it looks like I do win CMP here. I don't really want to win this matchup, though. Once this Lickitung's out of the way, my Whiscash or my Gligar should have a ton of play in the back, so I'm kind of fine just giving myself a bit of a farm down here, actually, and hopefully I'm going to have a lot of play with my Gligar up energy, in case it is that team we were talking about with the Venusaur. See a Vigoroth come in, of all things. A double normal lineup here, so that means almost certainly the third Pokemon is going to be strong against Annihilate. You know, Lickitung and Vigoroth, they're both things that really don't want to see the fighters like that. So I'm thinking maybe this is a triple normal lineup. There is a certain normal type that just absolutely shuts down Annihilate, and that would be a Wigglytuff. If that's what's in the back, then we want shields down here. We want to make sure we can have as much health on our Whiscash as possible as well. So we want to shield these moves. There might not be more opportunities to shield moves in this game, so let's just shield what we can. Go for the dig here to knock out this Vigoroth, and if we see a third, try to chip it down with his Aerial Ace, and then knock it out with our Whiscash in the back. So yeah, it's going to be that Wigglytuff in the back. I called it. It was a triple normal lineup, and now they're in range where Scald could knock them out. And I am actually going to go for the Mud Bomb here, because if I do this and they no-shield, I can farm this down. I'd have 2 Mud Bombs loaded against that Vigoroth. They're not at a move yet, so as long as I get the knockout here, and I have enough energy to throw the Mud Bombs against that Vigoroth, we are in a very solid position. Icy Wind does come through, which honestly is almost helpful for me. It gives me even more farm here, to the point where I have basically 100 energy coming out of this matchup. 2 Mud Bombs loaded. We throw the first, and we'll see if they try to shield it, or if they realize the game's over. We throw the Mud Bomb, and yeah, they just let it go. We take the win, and we can beat the triple normal lineup here with our Lickitung. Alright, speaking of yet another normal type, I hate Wigglytuff. It is everywhere, but it is in the lead this time. It's awkward, right? What do you want to do in this matchup? You can swap out to one of your shadows, but if this Wigglytuff is healthy, if it hasn't been chipped down, then I'll need 2 moves to knock this out with my shadow Pokemon in the back, and I don't really want to have my Whiscash or my Gligar try to deal with that. Now I've chipped it down into the range where a Scald or an Aerial Ace after some fast move pressure could definitely knock this out. I'm going to swap out, save energy on my Whiscash, and then here we go. It's another Shadow Poliwrath. This is a terrible position to be in. This thing can build up a lot of energy. It can potentially sweep my entire team if they play it right. Let's see how they play it out. I know this was only 7, so at most this is an Icy Wind coming through here. And it's not even that, it's a power-up punch. So a Poliwrath, you're not even running Scald. I don't really like that. That's pretty degen, if you ask me. Fast move pressure galore here with this team. We've seen the Wigglytuff. We've seen the Shadow Poliwrath with Power Up Punch. We're going to come in with our Lickitung, try our best to knock this out. Either they were seeing what was coming in and they didn't throw energy, or for some reason they lagged or something, I guess. They didn't throw a move immediately. I know I'd survive a power-up punch either way from here, so if they throw that, we survive it, we can save our Lickitung a little bit. Farm down with Gligar. We have 2 Shield Gligar against the world right now. There is still that Wigglytuff in the back, but here is a non-Shadow Whiscash. If it was the Shadow Whiscash, I'd actually be in a very strong position, because a dig would basically put them into farm down range, but here on the non-Shadow, they survive that pretty comfortably, right? So I don't get the opportunity to just farm them down. Now, I'll need to throw a second move, but I also want to have energy for when that Wigglytuff might come back in, because they did swap out. They didn't throw any moves on my Whiscash, but they do have some energy loaded there. I want to make sure I can throw a move on that when it comes back in, so I don't potentially lose the game off something silly like that. We have a lot of energy now. We didn't want to throw before the Scald CMP could happen. We wanted to make sure that Whiscash wouldn't have any opportunity to knock us out here. And the dig should put them into farm down range now. Yeah, they're at like 1 or 2 HP. We can wing attack down and take the win here with our Shadow Gligar. So yeah, honestly, Great League's been really rough for me this rotation. I've been expert for the past couple of days, and I've just been stuck in 2700s. I don't know why, but this team today really helped me climb out of that. It helped me get a lot of points here and make it so I wasn't quite in that rut that I was in. It's not a creative team, honestly. It's about as basic of a team as it can get, but sometimes you just gotta go with the basic stuff. You gotta know what works and just use it, even if it's not super interesting. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I stream Pokemon Go PvP basically every day live at twitch.tv/itsaxon if you want to see these kinds of battles and stuff, for yourself live when I'm doing them. I also am planning on posting a ton more YouTube videos, so make sure to subscribe, to like, to comment if you want to see more stuff like this. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.